Okay, so let's get to the next chapter, which is called scope management. And scope, time and cost, you can say that the core of the project management. Most of the time you end up negotiating between scope, time and cost, and trying to integrate them. Any risk materialize, impact one of them, and the project baseline, or we say project performance baseline, is made of the baseline of scope, time and the cost. So scope baseline, the time baseline and the cost baseline together called as performance baseline. So the scope, time and cost, they are core, and they go hand in hand, and they work the most, and the negotiating between them is not so easy. Let's talk about a little bit about that. So let's make this. Okay. So this is normally called a triangle, and on one side it is scope, on one side it is cost, on the other side it is time, and it is in the middle of this is we call quality. And what we do, we try to balance this triangle all along the project from beginning to end, and trying to see this, that we manage to balance it. If this triangle is in balance, means it is appropriately taken care of the impact on one side by adjusting that impact on one side by adjusting the other two sides. I think we should be able to manage and meet the quality, deliver the project and meet the project objective as such. Now my question to you is simply is that the scope is on one side, cost is on one side, the time is on one side. What quality is doing in the middle, and what is the purpose of the quality being in middle? Can anyone answer this? Why don't we put?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, go ahead. Please.
Yeah, I think if you compromise on any of these three things, maybe the quality gets impacted, right? That's how we put the quality in. I'm reading it.
Okay. Any other thought?
Yeah, in other words, to get the best quality output, you kind of manage all these three things, and the ultimate product, which is in the center, will get a good quality output.
So we managed to scope, cost and time, like Sunil also said that, okay, we'll be able to deliver a quality product. What is the rationale putting the scope, cost and time on the sides?
This is the triangle. If you vary any one, the other two will get impacted.
If you vary any of one side, the other two sides get impacted, or other two sides may get impacted. That's what you're saying?
Doesn't make it impacted. If you change the scope, yeah, cost will go high. And if cost is high, maybe it might take more time also. Even if you have to do the same time, cost will further high. Something like that. It's all related, all three.
Okay. Any other thought with this idea? I think it makes sense that if you have any impact on the scope, the cost get impacted, and the cost get impacted, most probably time may also, not necessarily, but may get impacted. Some other thought about this triangle?
Yeah, one more thing is the scope get increased. It's obviously from the customer perspective as well. So the cost is something which customer is going to bear. So if the scope increases, the cost is something increased for the customer. But when time increases, maybe it anything, maybe a rework or anything, the cost increases for the person who is developing the or delivering the project or delivering the product. So it may not be always to the customer, but to the person who is serving or delivering the product.
We have other people also. I think I look forward to hear from other people as well. That's pretty important. I think we most of the time we do this in the project.
This KK here.
Yes.
So you're looking like this. It needs to be balanced. All the three elements need to be balanced to provide a proper or an agreed quality.
Okay.
Does that? That's why it is shown on a in a triangular manner, where you need to have this balanced. So you can't shoot anyone out of proportion. So it may impact the other areas.
I think what you are presenting is same like what Sunil and Himanshu said. That if you manage this scope, cost, and time, the quality you can deliver the quality. But if I put the quality out and put anything else inside, what will happen? Or can I do that? Can I take out the time inside? Can I put the time inside and quality outside of in place of time? Can I exchange, swap quality and time?
No, the point is quality basically is an outcome, whereas the other stuff are you're going to spend or you're going to deploy.
Mm-hmm.
Does it?
I'm looking for some more thoughts on this. Okay, let's understand this way. How many times in your projects you are able to negotiate all these things and keep this triangle in shape and has delivered a quality product? There is no concept.
Very rare. It's not so easy.
Go ahead. Okay, how many times, tell me, you have delivered the quality product in the first delivery itself? When first time you delivered something to the client, it was of absolute quality, client praises like anything. You say, okay, fantastic, I didn't find any defect in this.
In software projects, this never happens.
I didn't get, sorry?
In software projects, it never happens.
It never happened, okay. So the first time when you deliver, It is not normally the quality. So what was happening? We couldn't manage the scope, cost and time triangle.
Yeah, that's what is happening actually. You either the scope is not clearly understood or some expectations are correctly not set. So your quality, what expected by the customer, is not there. Or when you give all this stuff, then the cost seems to be a little bit exorbitant for the um, client. They say it's been overshot, the cost. Yeah? So if both things are there, the same way the time is also happening. Most of the projects, this is the thing which I have observed or seen when we did.
Who is this? I didn't get the name.
Okay.
So I want to say that, okay, the scope, the client is changing, I understand. The time is also specified by client, but the cost is in our hand, right? We can always manage it.
Yeah. But for the quality, there is a cost. If you really want to deliver, what level of the quality you want to deliver, accordingly there will be a cost associated to that to manage, get the quality in place.
So I agree that there is a cost attached to the quality. So who is stopping you to spend the cost? The cost is in your hands, right? Cost is, the client is not saying you don't spend this.
Vivek,
Yeah.
Manoj, so I would say, I'm talking from my own experience, like where I am right now, both like scope. So what we get is the scope basically from the customer, and yeah, now as part of their process, they have a something like they jot down even release timelines for entire year. Yeah. So, and cost is definitely, I would say, we need to anyway get an approval from customer in most of the instances. And I remember my own conversation, like every time I need to review that cost with them, get their agreement, and if something can be delayed, it gets delayed, or something they see, okay, this is nice to have kind of a requirement, but it is costing them money, okay, let's delay it. That also comes into the picture. So I was just thinking, when you draw this triangle, I was noticing. So I think I'll be repeating what others have said. So to me, I think scope, time, and cost are kind of a boundaries, and the quality is at the core of this boundary. Like if you do anything with this boundary, you have a impact on your core.
So what you are saying is actually you're saying that scope is frozen by client, timeline also given by client. He is not also allowing you to spend more money, and so nothing is in your hand. Basically, what you are balancing in this triangle.
To be honest, what happens? Like, let me give you, like, say, scope has come, and I have been told, let's say, project has to meet release 1 2013 timeline. So this is how a statement comes in, at least at my workplace. Yeah. So fine, release 1 2013. So based on this scope, how much is the scope? How much time I have left with that release 1 2013. I need to really work out the cost. And at the cost time, when it comes to the cost, then definitely I need to get that also approved from the customer, irrespective whether it is TNM or FPP. But yeah, there is a little bit in my hand, as I said, as I touched upon earlier, which is internal to Wipro, like, how we want to deliver it, how many senior, how many junior, how many rookies we want to have it. That will definitely have an impact on cost. So, but still I would say there is a tap from the customer side also on the cost. Only thing is our hand is, I would really say, is the quality, because if I have to convince customer that this is costing you X amount, then only thing I could argue on, or only thing I can emphasize on is the quality. See, if I want to continue to FT till end of the project, only argument I could say, okay, it will cover your testing phases, and any change request comes in, we will have a good coverage and other stuff, or we are maintaining the project knowledge till till end-to-end cycle. So that's how I see to it. More than a cost, I see quality is, I think, in the hand of service vendors.
Okay, so you are saying that scope is in hand of in the hand of customer. Time is in hand of customer. Cost is also in the hand of customer. I can't manage either of them, so I'm not understanding how are you going to manage the quality. What? Yeah.
No, what I'm saying, there is a saying from the customer on the scope, definitely, because requirements are coming from them. Time, as I said, let's take out this specific scenarios aside. I have also worked in a couple of instances where you estimate for the project, and based on your estimate you deliver it. Either it is going to be 2013 or 2014. But now, at least at my customer side, the strategies has changed. They kind of jot down 4 releases in a year, and each project or program has to meet those releases. It could be released on 2013, it could be released for 2013. So I would say that is still, yeah, that which release to meet, I think that will be defined by your scope, how much you have to deliver. But costing side, yes, they do have to have a say that I have this much of budget, I don't have this much of to cover this much of budget from your scope. So what I see, if I have to justify my cost, I need to emphasize more on the quality, which is at the center of it.
So what you are going to say to your client?
So see, when I do my resource loading, my selection of resources will be deciding what kind of a quality I would be targeting to deliver. So if I have more experienced resources, definitely the cost will be high. Apart from other aspects, because people are I think the most expensive thing, I would say, apart from infrastructure and all. And how to sell those people's profile is, I think, the quality. The quality of the product, covering the scope and covering the timelines, meeting the timelines what customer has expected, is what I think I'm gonna go with.
The whole thing is that you are saying that you will propose more costly resources so that better quality will come out, right? And I doubt client is going to believe you.
See, what I have seen in my experience, if you have, because say in TNM definitely you have to give the profile. So in that also they sometimes questions, because based on your rates they can make out, is it a junior, is it a senior, or is it a the technical lead kind of a resource. So even that mix-up has to be there. So what I'm saying, if I have to justify a cost, I need to justify that on the ground of quality of a product that cost will deliver to them, covering their scope and meeting their timelines.
Yeah, but still, I think when you say you will get better quality, it's a promise, right? Nobody has seen it will going to happen or not.
Yes. So, it is a promise based on the experience.
So I don't know how you're going to convince your client that you will get a quality, because even if you deploy these costly resources, I doubt that you will be able to deliver a quality product. So just here, at first time you deliver, it doesn't happen in software. So that's the perception of vendor or of client also. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I am getting something here in chat box, the scope given by the client. Okay, the vendor give time and the cost. Yeah, it's normally it happens, but the client can dictate you time also. It may not dictate you cost, maybe
What I meant to,
I have maximum this cost, but it doesn't tell you that you cannot spend more than that. You spend, I will not pay.
no, what I meant is that for me, either the cost, quality is and time are managed by the vendor, right? So in either one of the three can be inside the triangle. So the scope is the one which decides all three of them.
Okay,
This
so
is my thought.
I think vendor has to manage everything, including scope. That is what otherwise the vendor is not required. The client will do things.
No, the scope means the requirement will be basically this. Means it will be initiated by the client, right? It will eventually given to the vendor, but the scope, the basic scope will be given by the client, right? The requirement.
Yeah, he will give you all three things. He will tell you that, okay, I need this by this time, and I have this much money. So the management is on the vendor side. He can tell you this is his limits.
No,
Okay.
but whenever there is a scope, any proposal given by any of the vendors, the cost and the timeline in a fixed bid is always given by the vendor, and if the client is agreeing or not agreeing is depending upon the client. I have never seen the client giving the timeline and the cost in my case.
No, that's fine. You are absolutely right. But that is a time of bidding. After that, you have frozen on the scope, time, and cost. Whatever either you provide or
Yeah.
customer provided. But after that, everything has
Okay.
to be managed by you. Okay. I think one thing which is coming up wonderfully,
Yeah.
I think, which I can see here is that quality is not negotiable. Himanshu has mentioned this, and that's why it is in the middle. So what this triangle says that if there is a change in the scope, you need to manage this change in the scope by changing this or this. You cannot change this, or we don't want to change this. When we put quality in the middle, we say we don't negotiate quality, we negotiate through cost and time. So if there is scope is increased, I'm going to add some resources. Okay. So earlier one person was there, I may add another person. So two people will come, which will increase your cost, but you will manage the scope without hitting the time. Or if that is not there, you say, I don't provide a resource, let's get more time and do it more time. Okay. If you can do that, I think you are balancing the triangle. If cost get reduced, client says, I don't have the cost, I have it, or I cannot pay more than this, or this is the constraint with me. What do? You say, okay, let's reduce the scope. If you have a less money, so we cover up less, the cost is taken care of. If that is not happening, then maybe the time may not be the appropriate dimension to adjust in this case. If the cost is less, you need to reduce the scope. You need to go back to the client, say, okay, let's reduce some scope so that the cost can be saved. Now client says, okay, can you deliver me a week before what I was promised earlier? What are you going to do? You say yes, okay, it will increase the cost by adding more resources, or let's reduce the scope. You need 10 things. What about delivering only 9 things by the time you are saying? A week before, if I deliver you 8 things, will it be okay? He may say yes. Not all the things are of the same priority. And that is what this negotiation is all about. It means a project has a specific scope, has a specific cost, and a specific time, but anything has changed in this. Client says, this was the timeline, can you deliver it here? 2 weeks before, my client is coming who want to see this. Okay, is your client coming want to see everything, or he is interested in a specific thing? Is interested in a specific thing. What about delivering that thing before this time and rest delivering as usual? So what we are saying, you have reduced the timeline. Night timeline is that. What about reducing the scope? This was the scope. I reduced the scope to this. And your critical thing is here, so it will be included in this. This is not critical. I will deliver it later at that point of time. So what I have done, though the client has dictated this is what I need, but I have reduced the scope, reducing the timeline. Now he says, no, I need everything. Client want to see the whole system. I say, okay, fair enough. Let's reduce it. By reducing, I need to add more people to work upon this, right? So give me some more money so that I can finish the project instead of this place at this place, and I will deliver you everything. So what I'm doing, I'm escalating the cost for him because he has want to reduce the cost, reduce the time. But what I'm not touching is the quality. Quality is not being touched. Means I will deliver of quality product. But normally it doesn't happen that way. We don't deliver the quality products. We always negotiate the quality first. What we are doing, this is normally dictated by client. This is normally dictated by client, and this is normally dictated by senior management. This is internal goal, right? Increasing the profitability percentage, 40% it should happen. Client don't want to reduce anything which he is giving you. He want everything on the time, but your senior management does not want to spend anything more. So everything is frozen, right? The only thing is left for negotiation is this. And that's the reason we never deliver any quality product in the first time. Because no senior person either on the customer side or on the senior management side is looking at the quality. This is looked into when you deliver. When you deliver a product and this is of bad quality, the client goes and escalates to senior management. Your team has not done a good job. Am I talking about the realistic scenario, or is something hypothetical or something which is normally doesn't happen? Then the senior management will come to PM. He say you are not doing a good job. PM says I take care of your cost. I took care of the scope client was looking for. I took care of time. I deliver on time. There are some issues. I will fix them. There are some issues which can be fixed over a period of time. But the matter is of escalation. So what will happen? When PM says if you want everything will be fixed faster, let's add some resources. So from where the resources will come? The senior management will provide 2 more people to get them fixed faster, and the next time will deliver a little better quality. Now little better quality is more satisfying to client because it is improving situation. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 iterations happen, and ultimately you deliver the quality product which client was ultimately looking for that. But then it was not in the same timeline. You deliver the quality product, bad quality product at the timeline which was discussed. Then first iteration happened, then the second iteration happened, the third iteration happened, the fourth iteration happened. Here the person get the right quality product. Actually this is extended. The timeline is basically this product was expected here. What has happened? These 2 people have come. They also added to the cost. So there are more dollars are here. So we have delivered a quality product ultimately with higher cost and higher timeline. The scope is remain fixed because we didn't increase scope, but in some cases even that could be another issue. Is this a realistic scenario? Is this what normally happens? This is how we manage our triangle. and scope? What is your opinion?
I agree with you, Vivek Manoj here. So if you guys might have heard, on UK Lloyds and Hedgehogs Bank merging had happened 2 years back. So I was there in that. So it had the same story which you have just narrated.
What about the others' experience? Is it the same or they have a different experience?
No, it is the same, and it's a fact that to find a quality, in fact, the prevent, find, and fixing the quality problem is in 1 to 100 and 1 to 10 to 100 ratio, right? So it is always better to find the problem first, prevent it, rather than fixing it in the end moment.
Right. Now I tell you a different story now. You got Microsoft announces that 31st October is the Windows 7 will be launched, right? And they launched on Windows 7 on 31st of October. What was there? This quality was in the mid, the time was in the middle, and this quality was here, right? Why? Because it's a reputation of the company that you promised a date and deliver on that date or not. Does this happen? It happens to our CWG case also. The time was of supreme important. Time was not negotiable. It was decided 4 years before when the Commonwealth Games will start. Time was not negotiable. It was in the middle. Everything else was negotiable. Scope was not negotiable as such, but that also get negotiated. Cost get negotiated. Quality got negotiated. Everything is got negotiated because the time was not negotiable. And everybody knows what happened. Okay, and how badly they get negotiated. Now let's look at the scenario where the Microsoft has launched a product, has announced 6 months in advance or 1 year in advance. They're going to launch Windows 7 on 31st of October. It is their reputation to launch the product on time. They put this on the supreme, remove the quality from the middle, put this on the side. Now tell me one thing, on 31st of October you got Windows 7, after 3 months or say 4 months you have a service pack. In case of Windows 7 may not be, I'm not sure, but earlier all products have some kind of service pack. Service pack 1, service pack 2, service pack 3. What that service pack contains? Some fixes and some additional features. What is this? This is scope and this is quality. What they have done, they keep it the promise but reduce the quality, reduce the scope. What they reduce the scope? Actually they didn't let it go. They manage it. They manage it that way. They figure it out. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. These items are of less importance. Only 5% of the people are going to use. Let's leave some problems here, not a problem. Because only few people going to use, it may not impact 95% of the people. A, B, C features are also be used by 3% of the people. 97% people will not be get impacted. So let's compromise on these features, leave them. What they did, they keep the time not negotiable. Maybe the cost could be negotiable. They might have added or deleted some people. I'm not very sure. I don't know. But with the service pack, I'm sure that some additional features have been added and some bugs are fixed. What is this? This is a proper plan that, okay, let's reduce the quality by this degree, reduce the scope by this degree, not going to impact majority of the people. It will not having anything, but after 3 months, out of this, 5 things get implemented. Out of A, B, C, A and B get implemented, put into the service pack 1 and released. 90% of people doesn't make any difference, SP1 or SP2, or it was without SP, it is still working the same way. But 5% people become happy. They put another service pack, fixes all these issues, put this also and service pack. This is called negotiating the quality, negotiating the scope. If you negotiate, it get negotiated. If you leave it, it does not get, it's negotiated its own out of your control. Your control is not there. It anyway get negotiated. And that is what all about scope, cost, time and quality and managing this thing. You can also go to the customer and say, I will deliver with A, B, C defects. Will that be okay with you? But we don't ask this question because we don't negotiate this. We can negotiate, but we don't negotiate. We can go and say like this, can I reduce, can I give you A, B, C only, D or E will be provided later, will that be fine? I think in some cases we do this, but quality, delivering with defects, we normally don't do it. I will share you some case study that how we normally do. So if you negotiate, you can negotiate it well, but if you don't negotiate, it gets negotiated its own, which is a poor situation. And that's the whole story. Let's negotiate, let's actively accept that there is a problem, there is a trouble, there is an issue which need to be fixed, which need to be managed, there is a specific request which need to be managed. What client can adopt, what client cannot, where the client is okay, where the client is not okay, and deliver on that. That's what I said. The client may be happy even you deliver partial. Client may not be happy even if you deliver full, because his requirements are not met. Happy and unhappy is a feeling, is not what you deliver. And that happens when his work was done irrespective of what you deliver. And if we understand what exactly he is looking for, I'm sure we will not go into this kind of struggle, which we often struggle. No client want to screw up the project because it may screw up you even more. He get screwed up more than you. Ultimately, he will not get the project. Repairing is not a solution. Okay, so I leave this thought with you, and I think it is 9:50 for today. It's good enough. Tomorrow we will take up some scope. If you have any views to express, we still have some time. I will be happy to hear your experience, your views, especially the experience. How you manage several situations, maybe successful, unsuccessful. But ultimately, project management is all about this: how you negotiate with the client and ask him to, and suggested alternative solutions so that he accept one of them. We are often little weak in providing the alternatives. and client doesn't have any clue.
Vivek, this is Nadeem here.
Yes.
But we usually do it as day 1 and 1.5, right?
What is I didn't get.
No, I say, but we usually do it, right, in a fixed bid project. If anything changes, for the quality not to suffer, we usually do it as day 1 and day 1.5, right?
What is day and day 1.5?
Day 1 is means like the most essential items which go in the day 1 production.
Prioritization.
Yeah. I'm just trying to say, you told me that we usually don't do it, but we usually do it, right?
No, we do it. We do it up to certain extent, but when the problem occurs, when the things changes, we don't negotiate at that point of time. We do not provide alternatives to the client. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Initial stage it's happening. Now suppose the client come up with another request, which is a problem, right? He is saying, okay, add this also in the scope. Or can you deliver a 1 week before? Or can you, or I want to add this scope, but I don't have the time. I don't have the cost. Right?
Okay.
These are the kind of the unreasonable demands which come with the client, and then how we negotiate with that.
Okay.
I say we are taking the priorities on the scope side, that what are the requirements of priorities, but I have hardly seen people using those priorities to really negotiate with the client that, okay, you talk about this highest priority, what about delivering only this and not delivering this, or delivering this little late?
Okay.
Sometimes we do. When we run out of time, we go to the client, say, okay, what about delivering this, and then after 1 week or 2 weeks we'll deliver this, and then we deliver this. And normally it happens when we see that we are running out of time. Really difficult to meet. But I haven't seen negotiating quality with the client anytime.
Okay.
This I have seen. Nobody has shared as of, okay, they negotiated, say, okay, with some defect. Client can come, okay, you deliver with some defect. But vendor doesn't propose, okay, can we deliver with some defect? Acceptable defects. I don't know, it depends upon client to client also. It's not hard, everything doesn't apply everywhere. So it's all, there are 100 things to be negotiated. You can negotiate only couple of things only, depending upon the scenario, the situations, the person, what person like, dislike, kind of things. But I think we need to keep this whole holistic view in mind. Then we can think about various alternative options. That, okay, in this what we can do. Any other experience or any other views people have? I think KK must be having a lot of things. Just looking that when he will open up and say something.
Yeah, you're right. See, this is the same similar scenario in almost all the projects when you really look at it. When you put quality out and put something else in and the code. So always this kind of changes happens, and the time extends. Ultimately, you get a project manager get fired. That's what is happening by the way.
Ultimately, actually, yeah.
As a project manager, what you feel is, what has gone wrong. They don't understand what is going wrong, basically.
Right.
Precisely because of this reason. You tend to go into resolving issues keeping saying that either the cost you cannot bust or either you cannot bust the time.
Right.
And keep working towards it, trying to put in your efforts in a way to manage that, rather than looking at your core is quality and you have to definitely work towards the delivery. Ultimately, it doesn't yield the result. That's what's happening.
Right.
Kind of
I will take you people to the question which come up actually some time back, that you are facing frequent changes. What do you do? Will you try to control the projects more closely, or you will go back and try to fix something in the planning or in the initiation time? And here is the negotiating time when we talk about that there is some problem and the problem is somewhere else. And normally what we do when we move into such kind of trouble, we try to control very closely. And
absolutely right.
And putting more and more energy, nagging people more and more, and trying to more closely or micromanaging the things instead of looking at what is causing this problem and let's fix that.
Yes, some examples are like, even if you do that, what happens is any organization cost comes, the first view is cost. So senior management would look at like, oh, you are now busting the cost. Where do we go? So explaining that is really a pain. So most of the people don't try to get into that area. That's where it is basically possible. But if you really have professional management there, it of course be heard if there is an issue and if your people are ready to resolve the quality, deliver the quality in the code, then it is mostly should be heard. I have my experiences like that where we felt that the cost is an issue. As a project manager, we were trying to control it as much as possible and try to control and put in additional resource, pumping additional resource, etc. But ultimately, it has become an issue, and nothing worked out, and you find that it is not what the management wanted.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to explain, that okay, scope is frozen by client, time frozen by client, and cost is frozen by senior management. So nothing is there at the end to negotiate, because nobody monitoring the quality right now. That anyway get negotiated automatically.
And it correct. And it basically, in today's scenario, this is one of the biggest things which requires to have where the project manager should have been more to feel more empowered to get into that area and try to close this matter, or take it up in the right governance boards in the right fashion at the very beginning, rather than trying to macromanage the issue and try to process it, control it as much as you can. If you miss that bus, then you will have a problem.
Right. We will discuss this, that in such a scenario, when you have such a scenario that scope is not changeable, time is not changeable, cost is not changeable, and quality will come badly on you, what a project manager should do. We'll discuss those things, that what in such a scenario to be done, and how to approach client and the senior management, because both are client basically for the project manager. You will get beaten up by the client or beaten up by the senior management. It doesn't make any difference. Okay, both way it is bad only. So the thing is that how to propose such things and get their buy-in, and or put the decision on those people to take a decision instead of you taking decision on their behalf. We will look into those scenarios, that how we should approach in such situations, so that the things do not come so badly. If the situation is bad, then it may not be preventable, but at least you can reduce the intensity at least of to a certain extent. I think today it's enough for today. Thank you very much for participating and making this lively, and I look forward for more contribution tomorrow. And let's see. I hope this will be a learning exercise for these 4 days. We'll look into some case studies also tomorrow and see that how better we can see. So if you have any question, just go back and see that if any question, any doubt, anything, tomorrow we will start with such kind of things. At least we have some discussion in the morning before we take up the scope, etc. And let's see how we can, besides PMP exam, what other things we can take away from this workshop. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vivek.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek. Thank you, everyone.
Tomorrow, 1 p.m. IST.
Yeah.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye.